the other man who instituted the Midlands meander was David Walters, known as Taffy Walters. David always had an innovative way of decorating place, and they were tending to go towards landscape and wall art even back in the 80s when I first met him. Remarkable potter. He works in porcelain. That's part of your pottery crawl. You go off over to Franschhoek, and you can meet and buy these pots there. This is a celadon glaze. This is Dick Buetz's pot. This is a small pot. This is Dick Buetz's coffee mug. He makes these as regularly as I do, smaller works. They are regular. He's just salt of the earth. He's like so consistent. This glaze is called celadon. It's named after the great Muslim knight Saladin of the 13th, 14th century. He was a great knight, and it's called celadon. It was reputed to have magical properties. If a drop of poison fell on a plate made of this glaze, it would shatter, they believed, and it would save the emperor from death. There is in the glaze making area, there are legends of even human sacrifice. The story goes that the potter came to the emperor, the Chinese emperor, with pots that had this glaze. And the emperor said, I want to fill my palace full of it. It's jade. He's made jade that will make me live longer. The corpses were covered in jade with the belief that it would take them through into the spirit world safely. And the potter went home to his kiln, but he had made this glaze by mistake. He did not know how he achieved it. And kiln load after kiln load turned out a greeny brown. And he couldn't understand. In his desperation, he threw himself into the fire, which is what the kiln needed to go into a reduction atmosphere, smoky reduction, and change all the pots into beautiful green. So that's the story of celadon. Whether you believe it or not, but there it is. These are marvelous pots. Yes, this is John Ellis. John Ellis is there for this exhibition, examples of his work. He studied in the United States. And what he said to me, potters have got to find the pots that people can have an emotional connection to. And this is what we're building now. This is what this museum is building. Emotional connections to really well-grounded and beautiful pots. Ellis probably is one of the few pies with paraffin. Regularly, it's a lower temperature reduction, so it's quite unique in this day. Okay, across the wall art. Now, S.C.S. Bosch said to me, you can't, if you want to express yourself as a fine artist, get out of ceramics, it's too daunting. But he himself goes and he makes these amazing ceramic sheets. But in my opinion, humble opinion, S.C.S. was not a painter, except for his last 4 paintings. If you've seen those, then you know S.C.S. got there eventually. He never let us know what the secrets, the technical secrets of these big ceramic sheets. They were 1 meter by a meter sheets. Andrew is generously, anybody who wants to venture into that area will get the information from Andrew quite happily. That's a one single piece tile, one piece. All of these guys, and Christo will bear me out, in achieving something like that, there's a truckload of shards. When you start a new venture, there's 20-30% loss. Sometimes I've unpacked kilns with grammars and chisels the whole kiln. So you keep trying. That's Andrew. Andrew is currently will end up with probably 60. I bet you any money like 60 to 65, 70 years of pot making experience. He's our anchor in the Anglo Oriental field. He's our anchor. He's taken on an Eastern religion. You can see it. It's inspired work. Okay, now here is also where angels fear to tread. You can these reds are just astonishing. You've got two things you probably noticed by now. You've got the iron thing, the iron pot, the iron, and then you've got the copper. You could almost call this exhibition between Venus and Mars. This is the Venus metal. It's copper. If you want to know about copper oxide or the hidden stuff of copper, you look at Botticelli's Birth of Venus. And he's put, that's an allegory on the Venus metal. The metal of Venus is copper. And it's feminine. So if you don't treat it right, it will just evaporate. But Christo's just got this beautiful pour off the rims. I think there's still unsold pots here, Christo.
Just this one. Brought that one today.
And if you fire it too long, the copper evaporates. You have nothing of a white pot. So it has to be treated exactly right, with exactly the right amount of reduction. You do a heavy body reduction to set it up, and then a light glaze reduction, and then you've got to watch this kiln like a hawk. Because the smallest kiln can suddenly tip the balance, and you've got a bland, semi-green pot, dull green pot. There's more of Yogi's pots. Then just a small collection of Paul de Jong. And Paul de Jong and I are the only ones in this whole collection that fire with wood. We have sustainable fire. And it's just magic to see the fifth generation potters getting stuck in, and with such incredible dedication to the making of vessels, and that's what makes a potter. That's the definition of a potter. Someone who's dedicated to making vessels. As Chaim Rabinowitz said, singing is also allowed. So we can put it on the wall, sing a song about it. There's Chris Patton, 1, 2, 3 pieces of Chris Patton. Lanconic Irishman, a lovely person. He can sing in Irish ditty. And he's also a keeper of the Anglo Oriental, has made similar pots to that pretty much all his life in this country. Nico Liebenberg, and those are his pots as well, in the corners. And I mean, this guy is, Gwyneth called him the potter samurai, the samurai potter, because he's got this intensity about him. He's this intense man, and you can see the results. They're amazingly intense, decorated, lovely, generous. Is that kind of guy. When the fires were burning down Cliff, down a silver mine, down to Haim's pottery, and were burning up, Nico was there. He said, "Net as ons plekke hierdie, they can't burn. You've got to pour water on it constantly." So there it is. Again, the control of copper. So Nico does this amazingly, and he's almost got the combination of the two, the iron and the copper. These patterns, when you see these patterns, Buzz Aldrin, when he was coming out the dark side of the moon and saw his own planet again, these are the patterns we have an emotional connection to. They're the cloud patterns. There's a spiritual quality about these things, even in their groundedness. Okay. Right, and then here, there's another one. And then here I am in the corner. I've named this one homage to Soji-san. Refer to the Japanese, our Japanese influence. We wood fire. It's a long and laborious process. It's about 18 hours of careful stoking. I'm joined by my daughter now. My daughter's a champion stoker. I learned at my expense, at my physical expense, this is not a single This is not the artist at the easel. This is a community project. So I have my community pottery nearby and my fika pottery. Those potters come and we fire the kiln together. They always have pots in it. I'm trying to make sure that the culture is not lost. You won't find an eagle's nest pottery today where Heim made these pots. This is the only place you'll find Heim Rabinowitz's pots, a collection of them. It is no more. It's a vineyard. I believe the wine's very good they made from that part of the vineyard, but Heim's pottery is gone. And I want to prevent this very much. So we've started our NGO, the pottery is part of that. We're connected in with communities. We are teaching kids in school. All the kids in the schools come through the pottery. They all know how pots are made. So ash glazes, that's a true ash glaze. They're running, they're green. And it's again that 50-50 clay and wood ash. And in this you see the opening. And the secret work of the potter is to open a little window into the workings of the mineral world. That's what we do. And that's what we live for, in fact. So we are showing people, and you won't see this unless you go to a scratch patch or you go to a crystal place or where they polish stones. That's the only place you'll see the inner workings of the mineral world, how these things work. This piece, and Ronnie has kindly got us out of the label, and we're beginning to move out of the Anglo Oriental label, where we were stuck by possibly Wilma Cruz in a book on contemporary South African ceramics. Heim and Jenny were really not happy with the text of that book, and when I went to London and I was able to place some pots in the top gallery in London, Anita Besson said to me, "It's a good thing you're not in this book, because it's not a very good book," quote unquote. I'll say no more than that. So that was, but here we go, and what I've done here, and I'll end the talk just with this. I've called this piece here the homage to Soji-san, Mr. Hamada. He had this lovely crisscrossing glaze poured very liberally across the pot, a wonderful pots out there to speak. And he had an American tourist. He was the first state living treasure, so you can see he actually revived all the pots in Japan. He was the first living state treasure and received a pension, but he had to teach and had to receive visitors all day. He had a stream of visitors. So he had this, an American said to him, Mr. Hamada, these stripes here, you've got one broad stripe there and you've got another little stripe next to it. How do you do that, and has this got anything to do with Zen? It's a very kind of crass entry. And the Zen master, suitable weight, a 3-second delay, and then he said, yes, the answer to both your questions is I have a crack in my ladle. So that's it. So we've learned something from all parts of the globe. And we're in this African continent, and it has the gutsy power of those pots. Those pots are African. This I have a reference to the Bushman pots. That was after a talk with a paleontologist. I did a series of pots with Bushman figures lurking under the glaze. The pot was nice and soft, so put a dent in it. Put a few dents. There it is. That's it.
Thank you very much. I think if people want to stay for tea or coffee or whatever, Anton, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for
marvelous hearing your version.
thank you. But thank you for arranging this exhibition. It was in your wisdom you've done this.
Good. Thank you.